Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to this explainer on a topic that is quite literally reshaping how we live every single day. For a long time, the conversation around technology has been, well, pretty basic. We've all talked about just managing screen time or setting those little timers to try and limit the damage. But today, we are looking at what happens when we completely flip the script. We're transitioning from merely limiting our hours on a device to actively designing our digital lives. It's about stepping up, taking the reins, and building an intentional digital future that actually serves you, rather than the other way around. Here is the blueprint for today's explainer. We're going to logically build your advanced digital skills, block by block. First, welcome digital architects. Second, the architect mindset. Third, the stakes, your brain. And finally, drafting your digital blueprint.
Welcome, digital architects, your new title and mission. Honestly, congratulations on graduating to this new phase. I am officially bestowing upon you your brand new title, Digital Architect.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Step 1, fun screen-free activities. Step 2, taming notifications. Step 3, designing your digital future. Think back to the foundational steps of your journey because they build so beautifully into what we're doing today. In step 1, we tackled habits, right? That was all about replacing mindless doom scrolling with actual engaging offline hobbies, picking up a physical book, going for a walk, or just being present. Then in step 2, we tackled the noise by taming notifications, turning off those non-essential pings that constantly pull at our attention. Now, in step 3, we are designing your digital future. This is where we elevate the whole shebang. We're taking the basic mechanics of just putting the phone down and turning it into a system where the technology in your pocket perfectly aligns with your personal goals and your overall well-being. It's a massive shift from defense to offense. Section 2, the architect mindset. From passive consumer to active creator. This is the core philosophical difference between just casually using digital tools and building a deliberate, intentional structure for your life. We're moving away from just indiscriminately using whatever digital tools are handed to us, and instead we're moving toward building a deliberate structure. On the left, we have the passive user. This is kind of the default mode for so many of us, mostly because tech platforms are literally designed to make it the default. It's letting algorithms dictate your morning, endlessly scrolling through a feed curated by a machine, and just reacting to whatever pops up. But on the right, we have the digital architect. Now, an architect doesn't just wander onto an empty lot and start randomly nailing boards together, do they? No way. They design a structure with extreme purpose. A digital architect actively shapes their environment rather than just reacting to it. They might wake up, use their phone intentionally to check the weather, or play a specific podcast they chose beforehand. And then they put the tool away. You aren't just letting an algorithm run your day.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that being an architect ultimately comes down to this core idea, deciding when technology is the right thing for us and when it's not. It's all about personal agency and true empowerment over your tech choices. You are making the active choice. Instead of a social media app deciding that you need to spend the next 45 minutes watching a stream of short videos, you are deciding if that tool actually serves your focus and your goals in that specific moment. If an app helps you learn a new language or connect with a friend across the country, hey, great, use it. But if it's just filling a void and making you feel sluggish, you have the absolute power to close it.
And a massive part of this empowerment involves building mental resilience against the dings. Back in level 2, we set notification limits. That was the mechanical part of the equation. But to truly become a digital architect, we have to look at the psychology. Why are those digital dings and buzzes so incredibly hard to ignore? Well, it's because they're designed using highly sophisticated psychological concepts like variable rewards. It's the exact same dopamine loop that keeps a person pulling the lever on a slot machine. You never really know if the next ding is an urgent message from your best friend or just some random app update. By understanding that our devices use these variable reward loops to essentially hijack our attention, we can start to build the mental resilience required to ignore them and stay completely focused on what actually matters to us. Section 3, the stakes, your brain, why this matters for your future. And let me tell you, digital wellness isn't just some trendy buzzword. It directly, and I mean directly, impacts your academic success, your mental health, your relationships, and your future career trajectories. Just consider this real-life cautionary tale from Elias Behrens to see how passive consumption actually rewires our developing brains. He realized his heavy, unstructured hours spent on YouTube and gaming, and I quote, were shaping my brain in a way that made it almost impossible to focus on more complex tasks and actually get stuff done. This is what happens because of neuroplasticity. When we passively consume rapid-fire, high-reward content, our brain physically rewires itself to expect that constant stimulation. So when we finally try to sit down and read a long book or solve a really complex math problem, our brain is just craving that quick dopamine hit. It makes sustained focus feel physically exhausting. So the crucial point is, enrich your life. Don't let tools steal your time, attention, and energy. The goal here isn't to throw our phones out the window. It's to use these tools to actually enrich our lives, rather than letting them drain us. Remember, you are the boss now. You decide how an app can add value to your afternoon. We just have to make absolutely sure we are leveraging these powerful devices to enhance our experiences, our creativity, and our connections, without sacrificing our precious mental bandwidth in the process. All right, Section 4, drafting your digital blueprint, the road ahead. Let's transition right into the incredibly exciting concepts you are about to master in this advanced phase of your digital literacy journey. And this brilliantly illustrates the master blueprint we'll use to get to work. These are the 4 specific, powerful pillars of building your intentional future. First, deconstruct persuasive design. We'll look under the hood at those psychological tricks like infinite scroll and the slot machine mechanics we mentioned earlier, so you can easily spot them and disarm them. Second, cultivate deep work. This means actively training your brain to reverse that neuroplasticity, rebuilding your capacity to focus intensely on complex tasks without any distraction. Third, embrace digital minimalism. This is all about auditing your apps and clearing out the digital clutter that isn't serving a specific, valuable purpose in your life. And finally, putting it all together. Become advanced digital citizens. You'll be navigating the online world with maturity, purpose, and a really strong sense of control. Now, if you're wondering if this is just some niche self-help idea, I promise you it's not. Major international educational frameworks, groups like the International Society for Technology and Education, and global educators all over the world now consider this exact type of intentionality and self-regulation to be an absolutely vital life skill. They rank it right up there with basic literacy and financial literacy. By mastering this blueprint, you're aligning yourself with the new global standard for navigating the modern world. You're equipping yourself with the tools needed to thrive in a digital economy while fiercely protecting your long-term well-being. So, I leave you with this final, provocative question. Are you ready to build your digital future? The awareness of how these tools work is there. The blueprint for taking control is completely laid out, and the choice is now entirely yours. The blueprint is in your hands. Thanks for exploring this with me in today's Explainer. Now, it's time to start building.